What's going on, shipmates? We are back in Echo. It's been another week. I'm gonna post this. This is gonna be a little longer video. Quick little intro here. Just because I'm gonna be going over 3 new cases that are been introduced to the game. One is coming this Friday. The other one we're not too sure, but they have been added to the game, so we can actually look at their skills and whatnot, and kind of get a little preview of what they're going to be doing. So there's going to be that. Other than that, everything else is going to be kind of small. So we're going to kind of blast through the little stuff to get to these 3 main cases to review. So yeah, and then I'm gonna do a little outro, kind of update on the content that's coming soon. Kind of give you an update on like what's the word I'm looking for? The output of my videos. I know it's been slacking a little bit with recently. I've just been a lot going on, but we'll go over that later. And other than that, let's jump into it. So first things first is the mini event. So we got here on the left side, we still have discorded key going on. It's been changing. It's kind of pretty much staying week to week right now. And it's pretty much just changing to what your rewards will be. So excuse me. So the it seems like slowly but surely they're adding more and more to this selection case. As you can see here, Coco is now part of it. Before it was just Masa, Nana, and Kala. But now they've added Coco, Shu, and Katana are there as well, as long as the UR selectors and the SSR. So that's interesting. So like I said, it's kind of back to back, but that's here. Oh, do we have one? Oh, cool. Look at that. We'll do it just for kicks because I haven't gotten one yet. Yeah. And then if you do want extra right here, for you pretty much 500 more fight, you get 3. So you get 3 summons off of that one. So but anyway, that's still going on for the 2 days. Awakening Journey, of course, is still going on till you get everybody. And then for the 2 Glory Star Progress, we have this one is actually treasures, right? Yeah, so Treasure Star, so it's 20 summons for the treasures. And the other one is going to be Beast Warden, which is going to be 20 excuse me, Gashbon tickets for the Elemonos. And that's it for the mini events. Let's check out the oops, sorry, wrong button. Patrols. Euphoria Cities here. Pneumonia Corrosion is back as well, so definitely get in that, and those are some good rewards in that shop to get. And now King of the Cage is back. It just started. You still have a few days left till the 4th, which I believe is Sunday, to participate. Get as high as you can. Like I said, you definitely get rewards, decent rewards. So right now I'm at 181. And then for me finishing there, oh, that's right here, 1400. So if you finish anywhere even above that, I mean, look at that. I mean, obviously first place is hard, but 3,000 more fight, that's 210 summons. If you finish between 51 and 100, that's pretty much a free 10 summon right there. So definitely partake, getting involved in all of that. For Euphoria, so I did mention earlier in another video that it was getting a little bit easier. I definitely don't have my squad lineup right, and I think that's why it's preventing me to get as far as I should be getting. But I got to the third house, 2nd floor. I'm at the last one, and pretty much at the end of it, I just run out of time, and it ends up being kind of like not necessarily a draw. They end up having more health because of all the after effects and stuff like that. I end up losing. So little things I gotta change up, but I did get further than I haven't gotten before. Excuse me. I usually only stop at the 1st floor, so definitely get involved in that and get those rewards that are in that patrol. All right, so next we're going to talk about the excuse me, Neolith legend and some other things. So first, before we get into the actual legend, so we do have something featured this time. So Arrow of Arrows is featured here again. You do have 4 more days to get it, so pretty much until Sunday. What's today, Tuesday? Yeah, so pretty much the end of the week. Still have some chances. We do have the Neolith, so we'll check out that first and see what that one stacks up. But I have reviewed this already, so I will put that in the description for you guys to look at that. We also have MR Hydra. He has returned. I do have this one, so I'm going to be skipping, but same thing with this, 4 more days to grab them. Definitely, if you do not have any of the MR Elemonos, definitely get, because I think there's only 3 or 4 right now that we have available. Is it going to show it to me now? So yeah, definitely start getting on those, because those are going to be coming out more and more. Now, let's take a look at the Neolith Legend and see what it is. So it is Gay Blog. Now, I don't know if this is the first time it's being featured. I want to say I've seen it before on the social media aspect, but I definitely don't know if this is the first time it's being actually featured. But let's take a quick look at it and see what it does. It is an MR Neolith, so those are the attributes. Let's take a look at the first skill. 297% Neolith damage to front row enemies, a little bit of AoE there. Also applying 3 stacks of Fate Reversal to front row enemies, and then grants 25 pneumonia to all allies. Not bad. We don't know what Fate Reversal does. Very interesting. It was kind of, oh, here's that down here. Okay, gotcha. So, second skill. When allies gain a total of 150 pneumonia, permanently grants Fate Lock to 2 randoms. Allies increases element hit rate by 10% for 3 rounds. And what is Fate Lock? Increases element damage bonus by 15% when attacking. The bonus further increased by 15%, capped at 45. So not bad. Definitely a little bit of buffs and attacking. So I mean, it doesn't do a lot of damage. I mean, it's decent, small AoE. Definitely recommend getting it because it is an MR Neolith in general. Excuse me. So and just having it at that at the MR level will just give you a better bonus and stacks and attributes than another UR who might do a little bit more damage. All right, so that's going to be that. Next, we have Fate Watch, which is the story event that's going on now for MR Rhii. That is the featured new case here. She is Eastrise, as you can see. Not too much different going on here. So like I said before, when it comes to these story events, it seems like they are very cookie cutter. Essentially, they just copy and paste, change a little bit here and there to fit the new case or character, whoever it may be. But essentially, everything inside of it is the same. So we just have the same dailies, same achievements. That's going to be there, the free gift, as well as the shop has been the same. Nothing changed here yet. You still have the 5 free summons you can get. And once you do get the unit, you can grab this here and get these resources there. That has been the same. The boss for this one is her. I cannot remember her name. Oh man, I'm really slacking today, guys. Sorry about that. Anyway, this is the boss mode. As you know, nothing really else has changed here. Once you get through all the achievements and rewards here, then you're pretty much just doing it for fun. And then last but not least, all 3 chapters of the story mode have been unlocked, and they did not change it back. I personally would like the 15 chapters to come back. I know it's like 3 more, a little longer, but it's not too bad. But it was more free, more fight, and when you put them all together, it was about 1,400, a little over 1,400 free Morphi that you were getting. So essentially, it was a free 10 summon, but now it's like a little bit less. Now it's around 1,200 without those extra Morphi from the 3 more stages that we got per chapter. So, yeah. So unfortunately, that's That's been the same, and nothing else has changed there. Now, let's get into it. We're at the 10-minute mark, so hopefully, excuse me, really, allergies coughing today. Anyway, here's the case draw. We also have MR Phoebe, Eastrise. We have Zoya, who's been here still. She's going away here in a little bit, Bifrost. But the main one that we have here is MR Rhii. She is single burst, single target DPS Eastrise unit. Water element. Very, very interesting. I did read a little bit of her. Very, very similar to Coco. When it comes to the percentages of damages, they're the same. The only really difference, obviously, is faction, and also it's going to be the effects that she gives to the enemy as far as like buffs and debuffs. So let's take a quick read, see what's going on, and move on to the next one. So, skill 1, water damage to 296% attack to a default target. Once again, it's 1. Also applies 3 stacks of dire hex to that target. She then gains 30% crit damage for 3 rounds, then recovering 25 pneumonia. So, dire hex, what does it do? Lowers final damage reduction by 2%, stacking up to 12 times, which would be a total of 24%. Upon reaching full stacks, gains misfortune for 2 rounds. That's also on top of dire hex. What is misfortune? Single unit damage taken plus 50%, which final damage reduction minus 35%. Excuse me. So, like I said, those, so 296 attack to 1, the 30% crit damage increase for 3 rounds is really good. If you do decide to go with this unit because of that one skill, and it's her first skill basic, essentially you're going to have crit damage plus 30% the whole match. So I would definitely focus on giving her as much crit rate as possible. And then crit damage usually is paired with crit rate anyway when it comes to some of the equipment and things of that nature. So just something to, that's one way to build her, keeping that in mind. Second skill, deals water magic damage to 600% to one enemy, along with 50% crit damage bonus. So here we go. This is 2 skills now, back to back, right? Because when you skills work off of rage, if you guys didn't know, when you hit 2 rage, you able to use skill 1, or I'm sorry, when you hit 2 rage, you're able to do skill 1. Skill 2 comes at rage 4, and then pneumonia, if you guys didn't know, when it reaches 100, then the limit skill or your ultimate gets triggered. So some of you, if you don't know, when it says rage, recover, 25 pneumonia, 50 pneumonia, things of that nature, that's what that means. Essentially, they're just able to use their stronger attacks more often, those recovering and building up more. So, moving on. So we got 2 skills back to back, 30% and now at 50% bonus. So definitely high crit rate if you can, as much as possible on this unit. It will definitely have her doing more of that damage. She also deals water magic damage equal to 500% attack to a default target and applies 4 stacks of dire hex on them. Rhii and the default target respectively gain good omen and dire fate for 3 rounds. She then recovers 50 pneumonia. So what is good omen? Increases damage dealt to enemies affected by dire fate by 50%. After being attacked, deals additional damage equal to 400% attack to the default target. Triggers up to 3 times per round. Dire fate deals 50% less damage to enemies affected by good omen. When attacked, gains 3 stacks of dire hex, triggering up to 3 times per round. So yeah, so essentially, the dire hex is going on the enemies. They're getting their final damage reduction. When it hits 12, they're doing damage that they're taking from single units is increased by 50%. Their final damage reduction minus 35%. They're getting more stacks of dire hex here, and they're dealing 50% less damage to enemies affected by good omens. So of course it's going to be Rhii who has that, so 50% less damage being done to her, which means she's lasting longer in the fight. Now, let's take a look at the passive. After enemy takes action, regains 3 stacks of Blessing Hex, triggering up to 6 times per round. When Blessing Hex reaches full stacks, we additionally cast bonus skill Hex Reversal, triggering up to 2 times per round at the start of the battle. She gains 2 rage. Perfect. After landing a critical hit with an active attack, which means either skill 1 or skill 2, Rhii deals damage equal to 20% of her max HP to the default target, capped at 400% of it. So essentially, if she does a critical hit, she's hitting again for 20% of her max HP to that target again, once per round. Now, let's take a look at this Blessing Hex and what it does. So Blessing Hex basic, excuse me, each stack increases element crit rate by 3%, stacking up to 9 times, which would be a total of 27%. After reaching full stacks, removes all Blessing Hex stacks, so all 9, and gains Heaven Blessed for 2 rounds. What is Heaven Blessed? It's water damage plus 35%, elemental crit rate plus 50%. That's a lot. That's what I'm saying. The higher crit rate you can get when, this is passive, so this activates as soon as the match starts. Adding another 50% to that for element hits and element damage, that's pretty good. That's a lot. That's almost, you want to be at close to 100 as possible, so that way she's just landing crit damage, crit damage every single time. And then of course, as you see, crit damage or critical hits, she does additional hits on top of that when she does do critical damage. Back to the passive skill. So when Blessing Hex reaches the max stacks of 9, it turns into Heaven Bless, and then also bonus skill Hex Reversal gets given out. Deals water damage equal to 400% attack to the default target, along with a 30% crit damage. Also applies 1 stack of Dire Hex. So constantly Dire Hex is something that's constantly given out. So when she hits that Blessing Hex 9 stacks, she's doing, not only is she getting an increase of water damage and elemental crit rate, but then she's attacking again for 400% to the default target, the single. So as you can see, a lot of damage being done. Single target though, remember, not AoE. Excuse me. Sorry guys. Anyway, shipmates, so let's get down. This is the limit break skill, the ultimate. So let's look and see what it does. So deals water magic damage equal to 980% attack to the default target, along with 50% crit damage bonus. So there it is again. So all 3 skills, the first attack, the secondary, and the limit break skill, is all doing crit damage or crit. I'm sorry, the first 2 is crit. Yeah, it's all crit damage. Yeah, 30, 50%, and then the ultimate is also 50%. Dealing additional water magic damage equal to 600% attack to the default target. The target is affected by a control effect, i.e. Dire Hex. The damage increases by 50%. Applies 4 stacks of Dire Hex to the target. Regains what does that say? Auspice Arrival for 2 rounds. What is that? Because I can't say it. Final damage bonus plus 30%. Whenever an ally suffers a control effect, the carrier casts bonus skill Hex Reversal, triggers up to 3 times per round. So once again, she is doing water damage equal to 40% attack to the default target, with a 30% crit damage and more stacks of Dire Hex. So essentially, she's hitting hard 1 time, the 980. She's also dealing 600% to attack, so it's essentially hitting twice. The second hit does not have the 50% crit damage, so keep that in mind. And then if anybody, the target is affected by a control effect of any kind, even from other units that you have on your team, damage increases by 50%. So that 600% goes up to 900. So she essentially, if everything is right, hitting for 980% attack, and then hitting for another 900%. Double hits, pretty good. Truthfully, I'm going to give Rhii an SS Tier ranking because of that double hit. If I remember correctly, Coco does not do that. She has some other effects in there, but she only hits once for 980%. If everything is right, and you have all this set up, and you have other units giving control effects as well, essentially she get hit twice. Obviously, fully max star, 7-star, that's a lot of summoning, but when she's at that level, 2 hits back to back at 900% of her attack is insane. So, links is going to be Alexia, HP increased, Serene, 18% increase in armor. Bion is going to be resistance, and if you have Phoebe and Shu, her attack is increased by 25%. Now, last video we did this as well, or you guys saw it briefly at the end, and I finally did have a chance to look at these units. But we have 2 units here, Mirage and Jade, who got added with the update for this week. I have just saw on Echo's social media page that Mirage, who we'll talk about next, is coming May 1st, so this Friday. She is another Eastrise. She is a tank, which is very interesting. Earth element, right? So let's take a look and see what she does. Very interesting. So with this tank, this is our third Eastrise MR tank that's been added. No, my fault. No, because I believe the water one is a different. I think she's Empire or Bifrost. So, but I know for sure 2 because Katana is a tank. This is our second Eastrise tank. Very interesting. Side note, Eastrise is a big concentration this season with the MRs. So, don't know if we'll be getting anything else. As you guys can see, we've got a little bit of Empire, Bifrost. We have got no Naboo MRs, which is very interesting because I feel like that Egyptian style is pretty popular in like some other games, you know, stuff like that. So interesting we haven't got an MR one yet. But anyway, moving on. Let's take a look at her skill, see what she does. Jeez. Skill 1. Test her paintbrush on enemies, dealing earth magic damage to 157% attack to front row enemies and recovering 25 pneumonia. Also grants a shield equal to 20% max HP, 3 allies with the lowest HP. Not bad for a skill 1. She is giving shields out, which is always good in a tank. Not any healing, but its shields is just as good. And then 157% is pretty basic attack damage. Now she does have a lot of effects, so I'm going to try to cover it all without confusing you guys too much. So second skill here, deals earth magic damage to 319% attack to front row enemies, so that's a 3 in the front, recovering 50 pneumonia. So at this point, by the time she hits this second skill, she's at 75. The 3 allies with the lowest HP gains Painted Blessing for 2 rounds. What is Painted Blessing? Let's look at that first. Damage taken decreases by 30%. Very good. That's what you want in a tank. When hit by enemies affected by scroll, each shield point absorbs an extra damage equal to depiction stacks star 5%. What does that mean? We'll find out here in a little bit. Against water element damage, shield mitigation increases by an extra 5% per depiction stack. Okay, so we got a lot going on here. Let's go back up to see what's going on. So Painted Blessing receives ink conception for 2 rounds and applies additional effects for 2 rounds based on the gradient stacks of water element targets. Okay, so she is targeting water elements because she is earth. Ink conception, right? So it's those, yes, reflects 30% of, also she's getting the ink conception, reflects 30% of all damage received to all enemies, split evenly. Decent. So a little bit of deflection for each stack of depiction, a lot of words in here, sorry guys. Targets take 5% additional reflected damage. Okay. Jesus. Sorry guys. Let's I'm gonna take a quick pause. My apologies, shipmates. I'm out here on the East Coast, and man, allergy season's coming out. We just coming out of that long winter. It's getting warm, and allergies are crazy. Anyway, back to this. Sorry. E-conception reflects 30% for each stack of depiction. Targets take 5% additional reflected damage. Damage against water element cases is increased by 50%. Each instance cannot exceed 600% attack. Triggers up to 12 times when effective. That's a lot. Interesting. So let's take a look what this gradient is. So up here in the top left, when gradient is below 4 stacks, consumes all stacks and converts it to ink form. What is that? Received shield and healing reduced by 30%. Damage negated per 1 shield point is reduced by 30%. When gradient reaches 4 stacks or more, converts to permanation. Received healing and shields are converted into damage dealt to self, triggering up to 4 times per round. Okay, so we got a lot of different buffs, debuffs going on. So a lot to keep track of. So let's go to the passive and check this out. Alright, so that's a lot. Shipmates. Oof. Blue Falcon. What is going on? Alright, so here we go. Passive. Before battle, gains freestyle sketch and applies scroll. Okay, there's the one we were looking for, to all enemies for the entire battle. Yes, all allies gain a shield equal to 20% of Mirage's max HP. Okay, whenever an enemy scroll levels up. Triggers at most once per round. When any front row ally's HP falls below 50%, inflicts brush counter on a random enemy for 1 round. Triggers up to 3 times per battle. Scroll gains effects based on depiction count. So depiction at 2 counts, scroll upgrades to final draft. Attack decreases by 20%. If the target is a water element case, attack decreases an additional 10%. When depiction reaches 4, scroll upgrades to final render. Attack decreases by 20% and element crit decreases by 15%. If the target is a water element case, attack and elemental crit decrease an additional 10%. Okay. Depiction 8, which looks like is the max. Scroll upgraded to realism. Attack decreases by 20%, elemental crit decreases by 15%, and all damage dealt decreases by 15%. If the target is water, attack, elemental crit, and damage dealt decrease by an additional 10%. Very interesting. So, depiction stacks is what you're aiming for with this unit. Alright, let's take a look at this freestyle sketch, which does happen up here. Yes. So what does that do? While Mirage is present, each time an ally deals damage, she performs a here we go. She performs a depiction on 1 random enemy for the entire battle. When an enemy deals active damage, Mirage performs a depiction on that target for the entire battle. At the end of each round, the targets take damage equal to depiction stacks, however many stacks it is, 2% Mirage's max HP. Water element enemies gain an additional stack of gradient when they receive depiction, lasting the entire battle. Brush counter. When effective, damage dealt is reduced by 20%, capped at 400% of Mirage's attack. When the effect ends, grants a shield equal to 30% max HP to random. Okay, shipmates. I have an idea how this works now. Let's take a look at the ultimate, the limit break skill first. Let's see what this actually does. Okay, so blurring the line, deals earth magic damage equal to 521% attack to the front row. Grants mountain shelter to the 3 allies with the lowest HP for 3 rounds. Gains a scenic scroll for 3 rounds. Also applies additional effects for 2 rounds based on the gradient stacks of water element targets. Okay, what is the mountain shelter? When taking damage, gains an additional shield equal to 30% of Mirage's max HP, triggering up to once per round. That's not bad. If the damage is dealt by water element enemy, the shield is increased by additional 40%. Total of 70%. Wow. Okay, scenic scroll. Reduces received damage for the 3 allies with the lowest HP by 80%. Transfer it to self. Any shields or healing gained by self are shared with these 3 allies. Triggers up to 5 times per round. Okay. Mirage. Ink Defense, Eastrise. I'm giving her an S tier ranking. And I'll tell you why. Yes, there's a lot of effects with this unit, or this case, with her. It's not bad. My only issue is kind of with some of the UR cases that I reviewed and tiered up. It just takes some time. I mean, granted, you're getting depiction pretty quick, and from what it reads, it sounds like by the end of round 1, latest round 2, every enemy is going to have depiction of some level. Now, building that up might take a few more rounds, but the more it builds up, the better the better Mirage performs. The ultimate, the damage being dealt isn't bad. I mean, 527, they're pretty basic cookie cutters. The main thing for her is going to be the support she's giving when it comes to these buffs. Or really debuffs, because depiction is against the enemies and is decreasing all their stuff. I really do like this, the 2, 4, and 8, reducing. I mean, that's gonna. So pretty much what's happening is depiction is being stacked up, given to the enemies, decreasing their damage being done to you. While that's being done, she's also doing this scenic scroll stuff, which is reduces received damage for the 3 hours of the lowest HP by 80%, on top of all those other percentages, 10, 15, 20 water elements, it increases by 10, and given to herself. So essentially, she's as a tank, that's what you want in a tank, is she's absorbing all the damage. She has higher base HP than most everybody else, so if you build that up, she's able to take all that and last longer. And the ones who don't have as much health, like your single target DPS and those units, are able to last longer throughout the fight. So, S tier, not bad. Takes a little bit to build up, but she can be really good when she does have all those effects being put out. For her, increase her health as much as possible. She needs to last as long as she can throughout the fight, so that these effects, depiction, and all that, the scrolls can level up, all that can, she has time to do all that and make them active. So not too bad. Now, last one here we're gonna look at is MR Jade. Now, she is wind element, she is support, she is Eastrise again. Now the thing is, I do not know when she's coming. I have not seen anything on social media. I haven't even seen anything for her on the regular, I forget which region it is. It might be JP or KR. I'm not too sure. Maybe SCA. But there's another region that has a social media that's like, it's just basic Echocalypse, and then they're like a unit or two ahead of us. So they kind of get things first, and then you'll see it hit our social media, and then it hits our game. So they might be syncing it up. I'm not too sure what's going on, because obviously I don't play that other region. I play this. This is the only one I play. So, but I have not seen her when she's coming, but she is in here. She is becoming soon, I'm assuming. So let's take a look at her. What is she doing as support unit? Wind physical damage equal to 217% attack to the default column of enemies. Increases elemental dodge for front row allies by 15% for 2 rounds. Recovers 25. Pretty basic, nothing crazy, short and simple. Second skill, wind physical damage 441%. Default column of enemies. Grants a shield equal to 20% max HP to front row allies. Very good. And applies debut for 3 rounds. Recovers 50. What is debut? Final damage reduction increases by 30%. When taking damage exceeding 20% max HP in a single hit, gains a shield equal to 20% max HP. Cool. So she pretty much recovers it. If the bearer is a wind element case, the shield effect is increased by 50%. Wow. Triggers up to 3 times per round. Well, that's a lot. Okay. A little bit better. Second skill is definitely doing a lot of heavy lifting for her. Final damage reduction is great, 30%. When she's taking damage exceeding 20%, she's getting a shield of 20%. If it's wind, increased by 50%, which would be a total of 70. And that's 3 times per round. That can happen. And this is going to all the front row allies. So, not necessarily her, but if you do have other wind element allies in the front, they also get this shield. So, not too bad. Let's take a look at the passive. What is she doing here? At the start of each round, inflicts engagement for 3 rounds on 2 back row enemies without the status. Okay. For the first 2 rounds, non-active damage taken by surrounding allies is reduced by 30%. When an ally dodges, restores 20 max HP to the ally with the lowest HP. Target is wind element case, restores a shield equal to 20% max HP. Triggers up to 2 times per round. So not bad. So she's giving shield, she's giving the support. Reducing damage taken by 30%. That's good too. 2 times per round is good. Engagement. What does that do? So element to hit reduced by 20%. When an attack is dodged, self-damage permanently increases by 10% up to a maximum of 30. Triggers at once per round. So that's gonna be last 3 rounds on 2 back row enemies, and then it's gonna be back and forth, it seems like. Now, it's getting a little better. So very, very, I mean, she is a support unit. Narrative shields. There's a lot of shields going on. So not too bad. She's doing her job. So let's take a look at the limit break skill here. What is she doing? 521% attack on default column of enemies. Removes 3 buffs from enemies affected by engagement. Applies exposure to back row enemies for 3 rounds and grants reversal to the front row allies for 3 rounds. What is exposure? Final damage reduced by 30%. When the carrier gains HP recovery or shield, 50% of the effect is transferred to a random enemy. Oh, okay. Triggers up to 2 times per round. So essentially, exposure is put on the enemy, right? So when it says that 50%, 50% of the effect is transferred to a random enemy, that's going to be somebody on your team. Triggering up to twice per round, and that's lasting for 3 rounds. And then what is reversal? Elemental dodge increased by 30%. When an ally dodges, deals damage equal to 300% attack to the default single enemy. If the bearer is a wind element, deals additional damage equal to 300% attack to front row enemies up to 2 times per round. So, Jade gets an S tier. She's good, not too bad. She does give shield. She is giving support. A lot of, not a lot, but like a few buffs here. She's giving out shields, 20% match HP, reduced damage, transferring 50% of enemies, healing to somebody on your team. Decent damage, 441% and 527, right? Was that what I saw? 521. So yeah, not entirely not bad. She's decent. S tier. What I would like from support would be a little bit more bigger shields. When it comes to support, you want them to. So essentially, all she's really just supporting your team and giving them shields, and that's it. Everything she's doing is decreasing final damage from the enemy being done to you. So, and just shields, like shield here, shield there. When you take damage more than 20%, you're gonna get a 20% shield, things of that nature. So a lot of shields handing out. So like I said, I would like a little bit more in a support unit. Like obviously an ultimate support unit be doing like healing, shields, buffs, increased attack, all that kind of stuff, extra turn or something like that. So obviously we can't have everything, but that's it for the reviews. Now lastly, before I close it out, little bit of outro, so it is going to get a little personal, things of that nature, and kind of content that's coming up, so you guys don't have to stick around for that. But anyway, so a lot going on. Most of you guys don't know, but I actually have a business. I'm selling it, leaving that company, and kind of just shifting into a new career, things of that nature. Possibly going back to school, finishing up some degrees, things of that nature. So all that's happening next week. So I'm going to try to get some content this week and early next week, while it's still slow, but definitely towards the end of next week. And next week is also Mother's Day weekend, so it's going to be a little crazy as well with that. So I'm going to try to get your guys' video of the team building out this week. The latest would probably be Saturday or Sunday. I have most of it worked out. I'm actually splitting things up into 2 different videos. So what I'm going to do, this first video, I'll give you a little preview here. I kind of did already before, but essentially I have obviously Eastrise is the main team I use, so it's going to be laid out. But for example, Empire, this is the team I would be like, okay, these are the ones I would pick. Obviously there's some, I don't have that many Empire MRs. There are a couple that I have to put in there, things of that nature. For what is this, Bifrost, of course I have those there. We have a couple more new ones, so those will get added. And then I'm going to be like, okay, this is the basic layout, this is how many of this type of unit I have, 1 support, 1 tank, blah 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 blah. Now I'm going to have one for each faction. And then I'm gonna get into, I'm gonna do one, then I'm gonna do a squad for each element. As you guys know, there is, oh hurry up, 4 elements, right? I don't think we've added light and dark. I think it's just the basics: earth, wind, fire, and water. Oh, actually, it'll tell me right up here. Well, maybe not. But yeah, we just have earth, wind, water, and fire. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, then I'm going to do a team of that. Obviously, we don't have a full elemental teams released yet, but I'm going to try to do my best with that. And then I'm going to do a team of like what I think would be, if you didn't really care about the buffs, things of that nature, just like who would be the best in their roles in a squad. So I'm going to do that video together, and then I'm going to do a second video of how to build characters. I think that's something that I haven't really covered that much, but I do want to go into like what all this means, and then go into like their equipment, the breakthrough, the augments, how to work on this stuff, coming into here, working on this stuff, the combat gear. I want to break all that down for you guys too. So I'm going to do a video on the squads, and then I'm going to do a video on the characters themselves and how to kind of build one properly and what to look for and how to kind of customize it to the build you kind of want. But anyway, that's it, shipmates. Hopefully you guys bear with me. I do appreciate all the new subscribers. I'm, you know, slowly but surely building up. You know, eventually I want to get to a point where I'm doing these like streaming and stuff like that. I do have some Twitch and all that kind of already set up. I just haven't really gotten into it yet with everything going on personally. Anyway, do appreciate it. Like, subscribe. YouTube, little side note, YouTube has changed its format. Likes are more engaging than anything else. So I mean, obviously comments, I will try to answer them as much as I can. Some of you guys write some lengthy ones, but that's fine. No worries. Excuse me. But like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I appreciate everything you guys are doing. That's it, shipmates, for now. I'll see you next time. Fair winds and following seas.